Hello and welcome back to Unbox The Podcast. I'm Sahar Huneidi Palmer. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. And if you're a regular listener, welcome home. This season is all about the power of your story. And in this episode, we're going to talk about something that we all go through, but rarely have a name or even acknowledge. We all experience the space in between. You know that moment when you're no longer who you were, but you're not who you are becoming yet? That is what I call the quiet place. The uncertain pause between what was and what is not yet. The space in between is uncomfortable, uncertain, but what if it is not a void? What if it is a portal, a place of recalibration, insight, and deeper alignment? That's what we're going to talk about today. This is truly the place where transformation brews, if you like. It's not just a gap. It's a sacred incubation space where something new can finally begin to emerge. The space in between is not just about waiting. It is about becoming. Let's explore this together. You might be in it now, in this space in between. You could be in between jobs, relationships, roles, or even identities, not knowing which way to turn. You feel like something is ending, but the new hasn't yet arrived. And it is that pause between chapters of your life, if you like, where the pages seem blank. No matter what you do, they're blank. Your mind is blank, everything is blank, and you might feel, I'm lost, or I don't know what's coming next. But perhaps you're not lost. Perhaps you are just in the space in between and something is brewing. This space is part of every transformation. Think of the caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it dissolves completely inside the chrysalis. Nothing of the old form remains, but the new one hasn't formed yet either. It's the same with us. The space in between is not a pause in life. It is life. It is when the old has fallen away, like shedding an old skin, maybe a job, a relationship, a belief, a career, but the new hasn't quite arrived yet. It can feel like floating or worse, like sinking. And believe me, I've been there. A client of mine described it as standing in the fog with no idea which way is forward. And that is exactly what you might feel like. Disoriented, lonely, and uncertain. But it is also a place of wisdom. And this is where rewriting your story, your new story, begins. And I just want to remind you, you're not defeated, you're not broken, you are becoming. Why this space is so uncomfortable? We are taught to love new beginnings, but no one taught us how to be in the middle. We are taught to cope with endings, but again, no one taught us how to deal with being in the middle, in this space in between. The middle is a place where all your fears show up. You are not in control, you feel uncertain, you need answers, and your mind races. The body feels heavy and numb, emotions come and go like waves. You might say, I feel lost. But what you're really saying is, I am not who I was, and I don't know who I am yet. And that's exactly where the magic is. You're not lost. You're in the middle of change. You're in the middle, more accurately, of a transformation. And this is where the BEMA method of the 4 dimensions of change comes in. In my Unbox methodology, I talk about the 4 dimensions of change, which are body, emotions, mind and belief system, and accountability to action. So your body is the first dimension to respond. Your body feels things before your mind can explain them. In the space in between, you might feel drained or restless. It is not weakness, it is your body adjusting, shifting gears, if you like. The second dimension is emotions. They feel like you're swinging between hope and fear, excitement and then fear again, or panic. You might feel grief, fear, hope, and relief all in one day. Let yourself feel what comes. Emotions are messengers, not problems. Emotions, fluctuating emotions, are an indication that consciously and unconsciously you're trying to integrate something, you're trying to figure it out, but you haven't yet. And that is why we feel emotional. And the third dimension, your mind. Your mind races or it blanks out. This is where old stories or current stories come up. What if I made a mistake? What if nothing better is coming? But you are not your thoughts. In this space, we become aware of what we believe because we're living it, we're thinking it. And when we choose what we want to believe, we start going forward. So I often touch my forehead and I say, shut up. I don't want to think that way. I don't want to feel that way. Or you can say, I choose to think differently. I choose to feel differently because honestly, we have a choice. As I told you earlier, it is life. So don't waste a moment. Go through it. And the sooner you stop resisting it, the sooner the gifts that it has to offer will start unraveling. The fourth dimension is accountability to action. So your actions come to a halt because you don't know what actions to take. And also, this is not the time for rushing. In this space in between, small, gentle steps are enough. Rest is action. Clarity will come later. But first, you must be still. This is not a failure. Look at it as this is recalibration. Many are not aware, or at least many of my clients are not aware that this is what's happening to them. So it's not necessarily a block. You're shifting gears and the way ahead has not been paved yet. We are also used to doing, fixing, moving because we give it meaning, it gives our lives meaning. But real transformation requires space, and this space is full of potential. Not long ago, I was in this space, and I found myself grieving. Grieving what? I didn't know exactly. I just sat with it, got on with my day, rested, reflected, and I realized it really was like shedding that old skin, and I grieved the past me as I welcomed the new me that is evolving. After a major chapter has closed in my life, I did feel I was at a standstill while the world was moving on. I kept asking myself, what's next? What's next? But every time I tried to plan or force some things, to move forward, it felt really wrong or nothing happened. So I stopped pushing. I started listening. I started going through it, if you like. I let the silence speak. And believe you me, it does. And slowly, something new began to rise. Clearer, more aligned, more truthful. That space gave birth to the next version of my work, my voice, even this podcast. A client of mine came to me saying, I feel like everything in my life is falling apart. But as we explored, she realized things were not falling apart. They were being stripped back to what was real, and what wasn't was taken away. In her case, it was the end of a role she had outgrown and the realization that she had never paused long enough to ask, what do I really want? When she allowed herself to be in that space in between, she began to dream again, to get inspired again. Not about what she should do, but what truly called her. And that dream became her new direction. and she's happy to report well on her way. So how do you navigate the space in between? Here is the key point again. Instead of resisting it, honor it. Here are a few practical ways to stay grounded while you are in the space in between. Number 1, let go of the rush. You don't need to figure it all out today, or this week, or even this month. Let it be what it is, but focus on the 4 dimensions, on your body, on your emotions, on your mind, and observe what actions are you taking or not taking. Listen inwards. What wants to come through? Not from fear, but from curiosity. Number 3, take care of your body. Eat well, rest, walk, go back in nature, breathe at the very least, intentionally. This is very grounding, and it allows your nervous system to switch into relaxation instead of being on alert. And it also helps your intuition to start talking. Number 4, watch your mind. In the space in between, this is when old beliefs, reproaching, lamenting, start rising. So notice what stories are you playing in a loop, and gently choose new ones. Number 5, stay connected. You are not meant to do this alone. Whether it's a mentor, a circle, a friend, let someone know so they can hold the space for you. Number 6, acknowledge where you are. Say to yourself, I am in a space of transition. It's okay for me not to know what to do. Naming it helps release the anxiety, because deep down you know that things are changing and you need the time to recalibrate. Number 7, stay curious, not critical. The voice of the critic doesn't work in this space. You need to stay curious and, dare I say, observe in wonderment. Oh, that's interesting. I don't feel like doing this. Or that's interesting. I don't feel like doing anything. And when you stop rushing to move forward, believe me, things begin to surface. Instead, you can ask, what is this pose teaching me? And my final tip is really tend to the 4 dimensions. Rest, nurture your body, journal your feelings so that you can see what emotions are running through you. Be mindful of the stories that you weave with your mind. Listen to that inner dialogue, and if it's a negative one, stop it. And finally, take only the smallest action so that you don't unconsciously resist it. And this small action will help you gradually realign with what you truly feel and want, not with what you think you should do. The space in between is also a space for intuition and imagination to emerge. Your intuition is your compass in this space. It guides you through what logic cannot. This space is not navigated by intellect alone. It requires imagination, dreaming, daydreaming, sensing, and trusting. Whatever you cannot imagine, you cannot realize. You cannot make real. So let yourself imagine not what was, but what could be. Use the space to visualize, to daydream, to imagine, and really let it go. A client of mine once said, I feel stuck. Nothing is happening. But when we explored it together, it became really clear she wasn't stuck. She too was shifting gears. She had outgrown her partnership, her position in her corporation, and she was eager to start something creative alongside her career. It was a huge point. Do I leave the job? Do I start this small business on my own? How do I manage? Should I transfer? Should I stay? Really huge dilemmas that kept going around and round. But really, the space in between, was a sacred space for reinvention. Within weeks of naming the space, something shifted, and things started unraveling in the right direction, like a rolling carpet. The minute she took a step forward, then the next step became clear, and so on. And slowly, the next chapter began to write itself. So, if you are in the space in between, I want you to know, and I want you to say, that I am not alone. You are exactly where you need to be. You are in the middle of change, in the middle of transformation, probably a huge one, and that space is so powerful. Remember, it's not an empty space, it's full of possibility. So let yourself float a little. Listen more, do less, push less. The clarity will come, but not if you try to force it too early. Let it work on you. Let it reshape you. And when you are ready, your next step will feel like the most natural thing in the world. In this space in between, you can ask yourself and journal, if you're so inclined, what am I learning from this pause? What is being revealed to me now that I have slowed down? Where is my energy beginning to shift? You might notice little things like you don't want to see certain people, or you don't want to read certain books, or maybe even your diet has changed, or your favorite colors have changed. It very often starts with small things like that. But when you're living, staying, being in that space in between, all of what's not right for you will start to surface, and you'll do well to journal. Read it later. Don't sweat it. Don't analyze it. But it's almost like a mirror. It helps you to process the changes that you don't normally notice because you haven't slowed down. Until then, rest in it, trust it, honor it. And remember, I'm here to guide you through. If you feel called to book a discovery session or join me on my upcoming online group life mentoring circle starting on April 30th, take advantage, listen to that inner voice. Otherwise, you have tons of resources on my website, in the podcast, and on my YouTube channel. Thank you for listening, and please do subscribe. I know many of you tune in, but you need to hit the subscribe button. Perhaps leave a review. You know how the algorithm works. And I'll see you next time on Unbox the Podcast.